Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first GameFace SFNL Division 2 to 10 netball show. I'm Hugh McLean. This is
Michaela Bolte.
Who's he?
I don't know, who is he?
Well, he would be Chris Dent. Chris Dent, Murrumbina coach. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me here.
So, basically each week we'll be recapping all the week's action and news from Divisions 2 to 10. And we'll have the odd special guest, and we'll feature the odd division along the way. So, welcome to the show, everybody. So we've got Chris Dent here, and look, give me a little bit of a rundown about what you do at Murrumbina, and keep it short, all right?
I will. I'm the head coach at Murrumbina. We've got 4 teams at the moment, and I do all the coordination as well. And that's about it. So we've basically built the program up from probably one or half a team 3 years ago, and we built last year 3 teams. We put an extra one in this season. So, and I'm lucky enough I coach a couple of the teams as well, which is great. And we're slowly building them. Everyone's enjoying it, So
now the Dent family is well and truly involved because you have daughters playing.
Yeah, I've got one of my daughters plays in the 3rd division team, my other daughters play for other teams we play with. But also my big influence at the football club where I'm a life member, and all my family played there, and my dad and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really big interest for us to be part of the club.
Any thoughts about having any further daughters in the future?
No. It's well and truly in the rack, so we'll leave it at that.
And Chris, you were just mentioning before off camera that you have some big plans for Murrumbina and you're excited for their hopes for the season. And I guess, how do you see your Div 2 side going? Div
2 there, we put a new coach in this season. I coached the 3 teams last year and I found it was a little bit daunting, a bit hard. But you bite off a heap and just keep chewing. So we brought in Rod Tatter, who is a representative coach at Kingston, and there's a lot of experience there. So he's come in to coach that team, and he's doing really well. They're really pushing themselves hard. It's just sometimes injuries, you know how it works. 9 plays, you get 1 or 2 down, or other things happening. So they're starting to pick it up a bit better as every game goes. They're getting better every week, but we're really trying to aim it high. We want to try and get to Division 1 next season. So that's what we're trying to do at Murrumbina, and put the bar high.
Yeah. And also you're involved in a lot of netball besides Murrumbina, from my knowledge. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. How else are you involved in netball?
I started a team probably 5 years ago called Revolution Sports Club, and that came out of my house, and now we've got 10 teams. Probably 90 registered players, and I'm president of that and run all of that as well as the football. So it's great. That's growing. We have representative teams at Waverley, and we play at Caulfield and at GSAC. So it's fun.
So you live, breathe, and eat netball then.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of players have to cook dinner.
Oh yeah.
So really exciting to have you on the show tonight for our first ever show up from Divisions 2 to 10, which is very exciting for the league and also for GameFace. So we're looking forward to having your knowledge throughout the show.
Thank you.
One thing I'll ask you, Chris. Obviously the obvious question to ask a coach is who your best players are, who your biggest influences. Well, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm going to ask you, who are the biggest influences at the club in terms of making it a club that people want to come to? So who's your mother hen? Who's the joker in the pack? Let's get some of these girls out there. Who do we look at from Murrumbina?
We've got ranging teams from the 2nd division all the way to 9th, and the ages are probably 29 down to 15. We've got a couple of Paris Tatter. She's probably the leader of the whole club. She's our club captain, and she's the leader on court, off court training, and she marks the standard for that. But we've got girls in the 6th division team who have been there for a year dot, so probably playing for 5 years or so, and Sarah Ballard, who won our best and fairest in 6th division last year, she's a character. She's a very driven girl, which I really like that. And we've got, what I really like? I really like the girls who are quite quiet and they come out of their shell on the court.
Yeah.
And girls like Lindsay Anderson and Ellie Lockwood and girls like that. But the main girl is it's the president's daughter, Olivia Hargrave. She's very good. She's feisty on the court, but really good club person, and is trying to integrate the football and the netball together.
Yeah.
So
So if you were to find a dead mouse in your locker or something like that, who would be the one that would have put it there?
oh my God, I think well, geez, you're pushing it there. I reckon it'd be one of the girls that in my second division team, because I've been coaching those girls since about grade 5. So it'd be either my daughter, because she'd be do something like that, or probably one of the lead, like Dakota Thompson or something like that. One of those girls, because they're always up for a laugh.
Yeah.
Hugh, what a question. I think that has to take it out so far, the question of
we
the
ask the hard
segment.
questions here at the show. So, okay, well, that gives us an insight into Murrumbina, and we will certainly be hearing more about Murrumbina as we go through the divisions. We'll be taking an exceptionally close look at Division 3 this week, but that'll come up as it comes up.
So we might start by running through the Division 2 scores, and as Hugh said, we're going to have a focus on a division per week, and this week that is Division 3. So from Division 2 to start with, we had Oakley District 44 defeated Mordialloc 19. Then we had Dingley 35 defeated Cheltenham 41. Heatherton 53 defeated Keysborough 28. St Kilda City 42 defeated Murrumbina 45. So a very close game there from Murrumbina just taking out the win.
So I'll ask you about this game, Chris, because that was a very close game and probably the game of the round.
Yes.
So that one, Murrumbina were behind early on and were behind well into that game. Came from the clouds in the last quarter. How worried were you at 3/4 time?
Well, yeah, absolutely. St Kilda City came out and they really bought it. And the girls, to their credit, they really fought back in the last quarter. It wasn't so much attacking, it was our defending. Defending, just they held them. And I think Sarah Thompson, who is not one of the huge stars in our defence, where we've got some big, big massive personalities and really, really good players down there. She really stepped up and made the difference in the game, and that's sometimes your defence starts from your attack starts from your defence, and it rallies everyone. And as you know, coaching, you got to get your goals in.
Yeah,
you got to shoot in a high
do.
percentage. You got to shoot in a high percentage, and when you get a turnover, you got to make them pay. And I think that's what they did towards the end of the game. Turnovers, and we made them pay, and it was a difference in the game.
And interesting there that St Kilda City and Murrumbina are both the top sides from their clubs, as well as Keysborough in the Division 2 there. So some heavy competition, and obviously something to look at for potentially next year for Division 1.
So Caulfield lead the way in Division 2. The Michaeli Belty coach Caulfield side. The points table looks a little bit strange, but that's only because there have been differing numbers of games played. But Caulfield on 10 points, 4 matches played, so 2.5 points a game. Heatherton, Oakley District and Murrumbina, even though they've got 12 points, they've played a game extra, so that's 2.4 points a game. So they make the 4. Cheltenham just outside with 2 points per game on 10. So, look, already they're looking like the 5 teams to beat, aren't they?
Yeah, very close division there, but something that you can't underestimate the other teams there. There are obviously some really close games in the division, so a really strong Division 2 this year, and I think that's something that's just showing the growth of the league.
I really like the look of this Cheltenham side, to be honest. They'll be thereabouts, I think.
Yeah. So we're going to keep going to Division 3 now. So Caulfield 19 defeated by Frankston 42. Cheltenham 37 defeated by Blackrock 22. Doveton Eagles 52 defeated St Paul's 29. Murrumbina 45 defeated Dingley 43. We might just have a chat again. A really close game here by Murrumbina.
Yeah.
They like the close games by the look of it.
Yes.
And obviously a really strong side in Dingley in Division 3 as well. Can you give us a quick recap on how that game went?
Yeah, it's a couple of girls on the opposition I used to coach as well. So it's really nice. I like to see them play, and they really brought it to us on Saturday, as did the team. But it was a close game. We were unlucky we were out with Dakota Thompson, our captain, playing football, and another couple of girls out. But it doesn't really matter. You play your 7. We had a flat 7, and we played our 7, and you're up against the opposition. You just got to play. So they had the upper hand most of the game. They really, that's like I said, they brought it the whole game. They really pushed us, and we stretched it out towards the end with Jarrah Thompson shooting really well towards the end of the game. She was the highest goal scorer in the 4th division last year with 400 or something, but she's a gun, and they lifted their performance, and it was good to get a win because these girls haven't lost yet since last year, so they're really keen to keep the wins, but sooner or later, every win you get, the closer to a loss. So It was a great game and a good result for us, but it was a really great game of netball. If you watched it, it was just a great game of netball. It was really competitive, and that's what we want to see down there.
Yeah, and on that, like I saw some of the Division 3 on Saturday in Frankston Dolphins and Caulfield and some of the other teams, and it was just great to see how strong the division is. I was coaching there last year, and I think it's grown a lot. I think the strength of the league has really skyrocketed in the last 12 months, so phenomenal results there from Murrumbina, but great to see that there's some close games amongst the division.
So you've played 4 matches, I think, in Division 3. Who's the best side you've played against so far?
Probably Dingley and who I was just looking at that. Dingley's probably the Saturday game was the hardest one because they knew, like I said, we know each other's games, and it does make a difference. And the girls are playing against girls they know. Blackrock. I think one of the other teams we did play earlier on have been dropped down. One of the teams. But Blackrock, I think they're a little bit shell-shocked at the start. I think they're playing a little bit better. But I think Cheltenham's going to be the team. I think Cheltenham, we had them on a week where a lot of girls were away, as if the week before.
So you sort of lucked out.
Yes, but we both teams. I think there's a lot of forfeits that week, and I think both teams just scraped together 7, and we had a bit of a hit out, and they're really strong as well. So I think, but I haven't seen Frankston Dolphins play yet.
Yeah,
so it'd be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, Frankston Dolphins. Watching them on the weekend, they're very polished. And obviously having the experience of Claire there as a coach, and just for being a club that's just started this year, their bond and connection with each other and their support from the sideline is you can't fault it. So I think Frankston Dolphins isn't one to underestimate. We also have St Kilda City 39 defeated South Yarra 36. So another really close game by St Kilda City taking out the win there. But I think Div 3 again is one that's really strong and you'll have to keep an eye on.
Oh, absolutely. I think like you said, with the competition being stronger every year, I think as your divisions as you get lower into divisions, they're getting stronger every season. Yeah,
and even on Saturday, roaming around the courts and getting some footage, I was filming a game and I thought, it's not bad, and it was Division 10. So it's just going to show that with Division 10 playing next to a Div 3 competition next to each other on court, there's not much difference. No, and I think that if we had a Division 10 side go up against someone higher, that it wouldn't be noticed.
The difference is the depth, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, and they're different games.
And the and the age of the girls, the younger girls later on, and some of the older girls playing the later.
Yeah, but just a really strong culture around the courts, and the ability by all divisions is great.
In Division 3 last week, just a couple of quick mentions. A couple of very good performances by shooters. Kelsey Eade hit 34 goals for Cheltenham. Erin Wolfenbottle scored 33 for Dufton Eagles. So
very
good
high
hauls
scoring
by those.
Yeah.
And shout out to one of the favourites of our media team, Danny Forward, who played her 100th game for Blackrock.
Oh, phenomenal effort.
In Division 3. And she's the first player in the Blackrock Netball club
Yeah.
to play 100 games for the club. So
Congratulations.
congrats, Danny. Unfortunately, the girls couldn't bring home the win for you, but certainly a very fine effort on your behalf. So just quickly with the points, Dufton Eagles, Murrumbina, St Kilda City all on 12 points. South Yarra on 10, Frankston Dolphins on 8 are the early leaders.
Yeah.
So again, a very close division and a very interesting one brewing there.
Yeah, and a massive congratulations there on the 100 games. I guess that's a great sort of pinpoint to let us know through the Facebook page if these big events are coming up, so we can help put a congratulations out
And
there to
please
the girls.
do that, because anything we can highlight, we love to do.
Yeah.
Well done, Danny. It's 100 more than I've played.
So we're going to keep moving now. So Division 4, Springvale and District 30 defeated by Bentley 32. Heatherton 43 defeated East Brighton 35. Mordialloc 38 defeated Doveton Eagles 24. Oakley District 29 defeated by Carrum Patterson Lakes 58. And Clayton 45 defeated Keysborough 27, with with St Kilda City having a bye. So again, some really close games there from Division 5.
First points in Division 4.
4, sorry.
Yeah. First points
I was just jumping ahead.
Nat going too quick for
Yeah,
this
I know, I couldn't
again.
keep up.
She's used to that with me. Okay, two sides in Division 4 getting their first points for the weekend, Bentley and Clayton. So congratulations to them. A couple of close games there. Certainly Bentley beat Springvale with a strong last quarter, and Clayton were dominant over Keysborough for the whole day, so well done to them.
Yeah. Chris, would you like to read out our Div 5 results?
I can see them from here. Doveton Eagles, that's
30.
30 defeated South Yarra 38. Defeated by South Yarra 38. Dingley,
the bold ones are the winners, mate.
Yeah, English, my second language. Dingley 44 defeated by Aspendale Arrows 48, which is great for Aspendale. I know they're a standalone team, and there were a couple of girls in that team. Hampton 44 defeated Lyndale 37. St Kilda City 33 defeated Bentley 23. Lyndhurst 37 defeated Mordialloc
21.
And Caulfield had the bye.
Yes. Oh, look at that. So, again, some really close results there. And moving on for Division 6. Hyatt 29 defeated by Springvale and District 35. Dingley 23 defeated by East Brighton 11. Murrumbina 36 defeated Parkdale Vultures 28. Doveton Eagles 44 defeated Lyndhurst 34. Heatherton 45 defeated St Kilda City 24, and again Caulfield with a bye.
Now, Chris, the win over Parkdale Vultures, and both these sides I would expect to be around about the mark in terms of finals this year.
That's another one of the teams I coach. So that was hard. They they really came out of the blocks. We came out, we shot the first, we were 8 goals up. And then all of a sudden, the girls just disintegrated, and so lose a bit of mojo on the court, and we had to settle them down because Parkdale really came back, hit the front, and we slowly pegged them back. But the last quarter, the girls, like they did in the second division, we had one. Lindsay Anderson had a bit of an injury. She got they both centres went for the ball, hit each other. She come off second best, hit the ground, smashed her knees into the ground, so we had to change her out. I was carrying her back. By the time we were 2 goals down, by the time we'd picked her up, carried her around, sorted her out, I think we were 5 goals up. So it's probably my best coaching performance by not doing anything. So
it was certainly a big last quarter from Murrumbina, and you needed it.
Absolutely. We really ran downhill, so it was great to see the girls actually pick it up and do that, because it's really hard to change the fortunes on the court during the game.
So Murrumbina in that one, topping the table again, from Doveton Eagles and Parkdale Vultures, with Heatherton in 4th. That should be another very interesting season unfolding at the top end.
I think so.
Yeah. Hugh, do you want to let us know how Division 6 went?
Carrum Patterson Lakes 16 defeated by Keysborough 38. South Yarra 65 beat Cheltenham 25. Skye 51 beat St Kilda City 31. Springvale District 58 beat Hallam 32. And do I have to mention the last result?
Yeah, I thought you were just skipping that.
Skip one.
Yeah. Okay.
Hampton 68 defeated Mordialloc 10.
Yeah, like to forget that one, but never mind.
With
a
Heatherton
misprint?
with a bye.
No, it wasn't, sadly.
So some bigger margins there, but obviously great to see some close games as well.
Again, big day for the shooters in this particular grade. Chelsea Sketcher 31 for Springvale.
Oh, goodness.
Caitlin Ewing 35 for Hampton in that win over Mordialloc. Bridie Maguire 35 for Skye, but trumping the lot of them was Isabel Prosser, who scored 40 times for South Yarra in their 65-25 win over Cheltenham.
Wow.
So some dominant goal scorers there. They're taking
So-
out more than half of the match's goals.
So she would have slept well on Saturday night, I would have thought.
So Division 8, we have Caulfield 16 defeated by Frankston Dolphins 27. Bentley 12 defeated by Cheltenham 35. Dandenong 30 defeated by Dumpton equals 31. So very close there. Dingley 49 defeated by South Yarra 21. St Paul's 18 defeated by Lindale 44. So
That Dandenong and Doveton game, there was never more than 1 or 2 goals between the two sides at any of the quarter breaks. It was nip and tuck right from the start to the finish, with nobody knowing who was going to win, and if the game had gone for another minute or two, it might have been the other way. So, very good game in netball, that one.
yeah, and I'd just like to say, from watching the Frankston Dolphins game, they were really good sports. I thought they were really positive on the court and played some really fair netball with Caulfield there. So well done to Frankston Dolphins for that. It's nice to see that in that division.
We certainly love that.
Yeah. Division 9. Chris, do you want to...
Yep. Height 27 defeated Mordialloc 25, close game. Hampton Park 39 defeated Oakley District 29. Dingley 19 defeated by Parkdale Vultures 32. Hampton 37 defeated Murrumbina 25. Lyndhurst 8 defeated by Blackrock 64.
So a
Ouch.
very big win there by Black
Yes.
Rock.
Certainly. Sandra Dwelly leading the goal charts with 36 in that game.
Yeah, wow.
Like you mentioned in Division 8, I'd like to mention Hyatt in this particular grade. The word I've got, not only last week but in past weeks as well, is they are a really excellent side to play against.
Yeah.
And play the game in the right spirit and the right way. So we love hearing that, and well done to the Hyatt girls.
And I think that's what you want to be known around for the courts, is not necessarily the team that wins, but the nice team to play against that's fair. So Division 10, we have Hampton Park 25 defeated Oakley District 23. Keysborough 28 defeated Dandenong 24. Clayton 36 defeated Springvale District's Blue 32. Hampton 30 defeated Dumpton Eagles 19. Heatherton 37 defeated Springvale District's Red 21. So interesting to see that there's 2 Springvale teams in that division, but both, again, very close games among the Division 10. And from seeing the games on the weekend, I think the growth and development of the whole league shows, but I think particularly in our Division 10 pool, I know that we've had more divisions come into the league, but their worth and their ability to play the game is phenomenal. And watching it, it was great netball. Like, I couldn't fault it, and it was just interesting to see that I couldn't pick filming Division 10 and I couldn't pick the difference between Division 10 and Division 5. So just goes to show that there's some great netball at the courts.
I'd like to just quickly touch on that last game, Heatherton Springvale District's Red.
Yeah.
And the shooters and the mid-quarters always seem to get the plaudits at the end of the game. I've been told that a really good defensive display in this game from Ella Pollard and Catherine Boucher for the Heatherton side.
Yep.
Played a very big part in getting that job done against Springvale in this game. So good to see the defenders getting a bit of love in a game around the courts. So,
Absolutely.
Great to see.
Yeah. Now, our topic of the week. So we ran the poll about Interleague. So our results, Hugh, do you want to run us through them?
Well, the results that we had were 75% of respondents said that they felt that the league should select the interleague sides.
Yep.
And only 25% suggested that the club should nominate players to go through. So that's an interesting margin for me. I wouldn't have thought it'd be as clear cut as 3/4 to 1/4, but certainly a lot of people out there say the interleague side should be selected by the league. I must say personally, I agree with that as well. We want the best side that we can out on the park, but again, that's only a personal thought.
Yeah, see, I think absolutely we're leading to the right decision with the league, but I think potentially having a mix of the league and the clubs would be ideal, considering we have teams that aren't in Division 1, like Murrumbina. So to have their representation in Interleague would be phenomenal for the league and also for those clubs involved.
You do make a very good point there.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how in 2020 how that is selected and if policies do change in terms of having the introduction of match bans if you don't take your interleague position, which is personally something that I don't think should be introduced in the netball side of it. I think we want girls who want to play, not having to play. But I guess we'll wait and see what the league comes out with for 2020.
And look, this is the reason behind running a topic of the week each week.
Yeah.
We want to get people talking about these things. We want to know what the people out there think about the issues that affect them.
Yeah.
And, if we get a response, then we can certainly take that to the powers that be and say, look, this is what people are thinking.
Yeah. And I guess this week, to link into all of that, SFNL used to run standalone A and B grade netball interleague competitions, subject to the opportunity and availability. And I guess our question is, would we like to see the return of B grade representative netball and what we think about it? I have to say the first year I played interleague, we did have a and B side. I was selected in the B side, but then had the opportunity to play up. And I think that was just great for the league to have more opportunity for girls. Obviously, we have a lot of girls playing, and to just pick 10 is pretty cutthroat. So potentially it's something we could look at. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
What do you think about that, Chris?
Well, I think with the growth of the league, with the standard now, I think it's we could do that. I think definitely. It depends on other leagues and how they find that as well. If there is games out there for another team, or if it's something that no one else wants to do. But I think it's. I'm looking at the standard of the second division. If you couldn't pick a really good second division team, we're looking at all those teams. Wow, I'm serious. There's some really good girls playing in those teams. So I think it'd be a great thing. But I think you should cap it at the 2. And not do too much. I think it's fantastic having the under-19s back this year. That's been a good source of seeing the young talent that's at the courts.
Yes.
Getting the kudos that they deserve. A few of them play first division, some play third, some play lower divisions because they're not old enough and they're playing with other clubs but they're good enough to represent the competition. So I think it's fantastic. So
the other thing about playing a representative side picked from Division 2 is that playing at the higher level, even if it's only for one game a season, it helps get Division 2 players ready for Division 1 if they actually get promoted. So, look, I think the more chance that we get to have our players play at a representative level, the better for not only them but for the standard of the league.
So they can train with the first division team and all that sort of stuff, and they're part of the group and they feel like they're part of what's going on, and I think it's fantastic.
It's interesting though that obviously Interleague's changed a lot from year to year. The first year that I played, we had 2 teams, an A and a B for open age, and then we had a 19s. And we actually had 2 games. So we played, I can't recall the names of the leagues, but we played one game during the week, and then the following weekend we had our interleague game. And that just gave us more of a run and also more of an opportunity to be coached by those coaches. And then the following year, I believe there was only the one side.
There was only one side,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
And then going back into it, we've only had the one side again for the next 2 years running. So interesting to see that it changes, and it'd be, I guess, interesting to see why it changes and why we don't have a set protocol. Does it have something to who we play, or
Yeah, I think a lot of it
Yeah.
has to do with the availability of
the other clubs,
players from the opposing
your league?
league.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, all we can do is put it out there, say to an opposing league, look, we're willing to run 3 representative sides, an A side, a B side, and a 19s. What can you do? Can you give us
And I think leagues
opposition
would be up.
in all those?
Yeah.
And I think certainly the bigger leagues certainly would.
Yeah.
Probably the country leagues as well, because it's a real community in the country.
Absolutely.
So, look, I mean, it's certainly something to be thinking about for future years.
I think they need to look at the format as well. I think with the netball, you can play 2 games on the weekend. And if you had a little bit more of a weekend of it and you had 3 teams playing, you could play each other one day and then the next day you're playing another team. So
Yeah.
it might be a bit more of a tournament, so to speak.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good thought as well.
Another thought. And I guess obviously that's not just down to the league, but also other leagues there. So an interesting topic, and would love to hear your opinions in the poll, and whether you're for having 2 teams or against it. And that's something we'll bring back to next week's show.
Okay, well, just quickly before we wrap up, injuries. Unfortunately, we have had a few. Look, ankles seem to be the flavour of the month at the moment. We've had Jess Carroll from Heatherton, Amber McHenry, an ex-interleague player, interestingly enough, from Cheltenham, Eleanor Andrew from the Aspendale Arrows, and Samantha Helsinger from East Brighton. All, unfortunately, did ankles on the weekend. Samantha Helsinger, big loss for her side. She's one of the shooters in that side, so that didn't help them. One of your girls, Chris, Lindsay Anderson, as you mentioned before, did a knee.
So she's pretty
How
good.
is she?
She's quite bruised. Happy to have the week off training and happy to have Saturday off because of the interleague. So I think she'll be up and going, but
So
a little bit
nothing structural. It's just
No,
movement?
quite okay. We've had a couple of ankles during the season, but everything's been quite minor. So
Touch wood.
yep.
Fantastic. Sadly, we have had a couple of structural injuries from Frankston Dolphins.
Yeah.
Deborah and Rebecca, unfortunately I don't know surnames, but you'll know who you are out there, so we'll give you a shout out, girls. They've done knees, I believe, and
I think just Rebecca's done a knee,
uh-huh.
and maybe a calf.
Calf for Deborah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
correct.
Rebecca's actually had a reconstruction. Apparently she did it in a pre-season match, and didn't even get to jump on court in the Frankston Dolphins dress, unfortunately, for round 1. But she's had I believe, her surgery for a reco, so we wish you all the best for that. Obviously not a pleasant injury, but we're sure you'll be back for 2020.
Indeed, and I have one more, and it's somebody that is very active within the league, Jess Porter from South Yarra. She's a club netball coordinator, and she's also done a bit of umpiring when we needed umpires.
Okay.
Jess unfortunately broke her arm last week against St Kilda at the peanut farm away from Dingley.
Yeah.
So Jess, look, big shout out to you. Us and everyone at the league wishes you all the best, and hope you're back with us back on the courts very soon. So that's it from me on the injuries. It's probably enough, really.
Yeah, I know. We need to not be having so many injuries. We had a lot last week as well. So
I would like that to be a shorter list next week, ladies.
think we all
or
would.
Next game, anyway.
yeah. And obviously we wish everyone that has unfortunately had an injury all the best for their recovery, and we hope to see you back on court soon. But this is a wrap for this week for our first ever Division 2 to 10 show with GameFace and SFNL. And thanks for joining us, and we hope to see what you guys think and what you look forward to seeing. So comment below once you see the video and let us know anything that we should add to the show or your feedback from it. Would be great to see. And
Huge thanks to our sponsors.
absolutely.
Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park. Wonderful people over there. 1111 Fitness and Squid's Locker.
Yes. And Chris, I don't know if you know this. I hope you've been watching the show, so maybe you do, but
We have one last thing to say.
we
don't
always do. We're going to test you.
Can I just do one shout out quickly just to my
Oh,
girls who are
of
playing
course.
Southern Footy League on the weekend, Olivia May and Zoe McElroy in the under-19s. I wish them the best, and they are so excited to represent the league. So
Pull on
good
the
luck to
white
those girls.
dress.
Go, yeah, absolutely. It's
I'm
going to be weird.
excited to have them.
So absolutely.
Yes.
So now we can say,
And remember, get your game face
on.
on.
Come on, join us here, Chris.
We can work on that next show.